was linked to her involvement in faith-based humanitarian initiative and woman empowerment program. Tinubu in the past said, most of our leaders are highly respected and honored abroad. Yet many Nigerians fail to value what they have because of hatred and narrative planted in their minds by political past master, which have also hardened their hearts. He said they bullied their leaders, speak ill of them, demean them, curse them, and even seize upon their mistakes to drag across social media, ridiculing and mocking them public. He said Nigeria is built on love, unity, and collective effort towards shared success. Let us come together to support our respected leaders and work hands in hands with them to make our country great.
All right, thank you very much for that, Ibuku. All right, you've heard it all from the First Lady, Oluwemi Tinubu. Okay, I have an interesting story to tell. While I was in primary school, while I was in primary school, back then in the maybe towards the late 90s, the very first time I saw the First Lady, then she was the Lagos State Governor's wife. She was the First Lady of Lagos State as at that time, and she was a very beautiful woman. Oh my God, this woman, she's beautiful. But here now, okay, what would have prompted the First Lady to have call on Nigerians to stop bullying leaders? Before I answer that, maybe the First Lady has forgotten that when the People's Democratic Party was in governance, then when they were in governance, when the PDP was in governance, the First Lady's husband, Tinubu, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and members of the APC as at that time, rained insults on the current governor, on the current government administration as at that time. That's the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. So, like they say, like one actress, one singer did said, I don't know if it is Beyonce or one of these famous singers, said that what goes around comes around. When the APC were not in power, the APC when they were in the opposition side, the APC, were raining insults on President Bola Ahmed, President Goodluck Jonathan, and the APC administration. They were bullying, those in power, as at that time. And then thinking it was easy. Now that it is now their turn, somebody somewhere is saying that Nigeria to stop bullying leaders. Of course, leaders will be bullied. Leaders will be insulted. Leaders will be talked to anyhow if they fail to do what they are expected to do. It is not new. It is not this is not what it is. Universal. It is universal for leaders in authority to be bullied, not just being bullied, but to be criticized. When a leader is not doing what is expected of him or her to do, he will bully. When a particular administration, it neglects, the sufferings of the masses. These are the things that will lead to them being bullied by the followers. So it is not surprise that Nigerian leaders are being bullied. In fact, Nigerian leaders are not the only leaders that are being bullied. During the administration of Goodluck Jonathan, as at that time, according to report, Goodluck Jonathan was the most criticized president in the history of the country. As at that time, I don't know about now, because there were a lot of things that were overlooked, by the previous administration of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan when it comes to insecurity. In fact, insecurity was the major dig, to Goodluck Jonathan as at that time by the APC. Insecurity, economy, and other things. So I wasn't expecting First Lady Oluwemi Tinubu to say this, but of course she has the right to say what she wants to say because she is the First Lady. And let us keep our fingers crossed to see if things will be better, from past administration here, in the country. So according to what the First Lady said, let me read some of her quotes. Although Ibuku might have read it before. She said, and I quote, "Most of our leaders are highly respected and honored. Most of our leaders are highly respected and honored abroad. Yet many Nigerians, fail to value what they have because of hatred and the narratives planted in their minds by political paymasters, which have also hardened their hearts. They bully these leaders, speak ill of them, demean them, curse them, and even seize upon them, upon their mistakes, to drag them across social media." So what I just remembered. Okay, before I continue, let me give Ibuku more time to say.
Okay, thank you, Kenneth. What I want to say is, you see the level of online abuse directed at leaders these days, it has really increased. I must say, it has really increased. Since 2023, Tinubu, our president, have been appointed as the president. The bullying and all of that has increased on social media. You see, some comments go beyond criticism. That is when it turns into personal attack, curse, and insults. And yes, it is. Everyone see it. What I want to say is, no leader deserves to be dehumanized. Criticisms are things that citizens are fond of when it comes to. No leader deserves bullying or abuse. But leaders must also understand that frustrations fuels harsh reactions. Before any citizen can come online, drop any comments, they will feel like they are already angry. They are frustrated. They are going through a lot of things. So I actually feel like what used to trigger what are the things that trigger citizens to come online and start dropping insults, different kind of comment to the leader we respect the most. That is when I expect our leaders to sit down and think that a citizen of Nigeria cannot just come online and start insulting our president or insulting any governor. That's when you know something is destroying the democracy already. So that is why I expect our leaders should do the right thing at the right time. Because a person that is in their right senses will not just come and insult or bull anybody. So this is not about bullying. It is about a frustrated being using this channel, which is social media, to express their mind. So this is why I expect our leaders to what our First Lady is saying. She's really saying the right thing, but out of what she's saying, we should also pick point from it and do what the citizen wants. If we stop doing what the citizen wants, this criticism and bullying will continue. But when we do what they want, all of this pressure, it will reduce, and that's just it.
All right, thank you, Buku. To buttress on what she has said, in essence, if leaders are doing what is expected of them to do, nobody will bully them. Nigerians bully leaders because why? Because number one, the leaders are not doing enough. Just like what we've witnessed in recent days in the Senate, nobody will rain insults on senators if they had done what was expected of them to do. I would like to say this, and I stand to be corrected. Our leaders, this is to our listeners, those that you voted into power, they know the right thing to do. That is one thing our listeners, Nigerians, must understand. The leaders that you voted into power, they know the right thing to do. But what is that thing that is preventing them from doing the right thing? That is where the question is. Because you cannot tell me that our senators don't know the way forward when it comes to conducting a free and fair elections. This privileged set of individuals, the elites, the political class in this country, they have traveled far and wide. They have traveled to countries, to advanced countries, they read newspapers, they watch television, how elections are being conducted in UK, how elections are being conducted in the United States of America, how elections are being conducted in advanced countries. Now, why can't they do the right thing? Why can't they do what is expected of them? Because I wouldn't say that they don't know their left from their right. When you know your left from the right and you choose to do the right thing, then that will bring bullying upon you. When those in government are supposed to address the healthcare sector in the country, doctors, nurses are jetting out of the country in droves. Every now and then there will be strikes, there will be nationwide, the academic activity in federal universities will be paralyzed. But now this just like we read on the pages this morning that ASU and federal government, they've reached an agreement. Are you now telling me that the federal government do not know what to do as regards to the welfare of Nigerian lecturers? This was agreement that was presented to the federal government since 2009 or 2019, years, decades ago, during the Goodluck Jonathan administration and the Muhammadu Buhari's admission. ASU presented this recommendation. It was signed, but nothing was agreed upon. It was just recently that the Tinubu administration, the Ministry of Education, has now they called on ASU to renegotiate. These are the things that we are not asking too much. Nigerians are not asking too much. What Nigerians are asking is, do those things that is expected of you to do. It will not remove a strand of hair from your body. Make sure that our electoral process is credible. Make sure that we have good roads, stable electricity. These are things that are possible, but by the way and manner that our leaders behave, they make us to think that it is impossible to have stable electricity in this country. But what about other countries? In Ghana, in South Africa, in Morocco, in Egypt, in Tunisia, in Uganda, these countries are enjoying stable electricity. Not to talk about countries in Europe, not to talk about China. I saw the other day, I came across a video on Instagram. A whole island, China installed solar panel on a whole island. And you tell me that this cannot be replicated in this country, despite the enormous sun that we have in this country. Our leaders, for God's sake, know what to do, but they have refused to do those things so as to perpetuate themselves in power. And you are expecting Nigerians not to bully you. You will be bullied, for God's sake. You will be bullied. It is only a child that does not know his right from his left. But when a fully grown adult cannot say that he doesn't know what to do as a leader. Nobody forced you to contest for an election. You were not forced, you were not under duress to contest for an election. Now you contested for an election and you were voted for. Now that God has given you the opportunity to improve the lives of people in your community, in your state, in the country, in your constituency, it has become something that is difficult for you. No, you were ready for this. You were ready for this. So if leaders fail to do the right thing, they will be criticized, they will be blamed, they will be bullied by Nigerians who are angry. Thank God social media is around the corner. Anybody can just wake up in the morning and start tweeting insults on the Senate president or the minister or the president or the vice president or the governor or the commissioner. Nigerians will stop bullying leaders when leaders do what is expected of them to do. There's nothing too hard for this to be resolved. Anything before I go for comments?
Yes, I just want to say we must be careful not to label every criticism, every complaint or criticism as bullying. We must know the difference. Nigeria are under pressure. Nigeria are tired. Nigeria are going through a lot of things. Nigeria are hurting. People are tired of I won't say of the country in particular. I won't say of this administration, of the country in particular. When citizens speak out, that is not hatred. It is crying for accountability. Then the solution is citizens should criticize responsibly. If I'm not saying citizens should insult anybody in the political party, or insult anybody in the administration, or insult anybody. It is not right. There are some things you want to drop comments sometimes. Drop it, because this person is someone we give honor to. Our president is someone we give honor to. The governor of each state, they are respected. They should be respected. So if you want to drop your comment, drop it responsibly. And as our leader, we call you the leader of this country. We call you the leader of one state or the other. You should do what is expected of you to do. We voted for you to do the right thing. They do it. Don't wait for people to be pressured. Don't wait for people to start humiliating, people to start saying insulting words on our leaders. We are expected of you. We expect you to do right. That is why we voted for you as the leader.
All right, thank you very much, Ibuku. Now to the followers. Yes, we according to the Constitution, you have freedom of speech. You can say what you like. But now that in the age of social media, internet, and advanced technology, we want to urge our listeners, Nigerians out there, that if you want to criticize a leader, let that criticism be constructive. Criticize in a way that it will be educative, but don't criticize in a way that it will be abusive, because you are what you say. Who you are is dependent on what comes out of you. If you're an abusive person, it will tell on you within time. Now let me take some of the response online. According to Lex is an ex-user. He said it is stone deaf to ask for respect and unity from people who are struggling to find their next meal. Respect in leadership isn't a demand you make from podium. It is a social contract you fulfill by making sure the people you lead can actually afford to eat. When the online bullying you are worried about is actually just the desperate cry of citizens facing record inflation and hunger, then your priorities are completely backward. He continued, you cannot expect people to be constructive while their reality is destructive. You cannot expect Nigerians to give a constructive criticism while their reality is destructive, while the things around them, the economic situation, is not encouraging. So it is what goes on around us that motivates us to say what we say. He said, if you want the bullying to stop, fix the system that are starving the population. Respect is earned through service, not requested through press releases. This is fantastic. I mean, this man put it the way it ought to be put. Okay, he put it the way it ought to be put. So if you want people to criticize constructively, there are things that should be put in place. You cannot expect, like they used to say, that a hungry man is an angry man. Majority of Nigerians are hungry. Just the other day, according to one of the accounting firm, international accounting firm index report, that about over 100 million Nigerians will be poor in 2026. What do you expect them to say? Somebody that cannot detect, somebody that cannot predict that where his next meal is coming from. What do you expect such person to say? For example, at the inauguration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in May 29, 2023, the first thing he did was to remove subsidy without even, studying the terrain. You don't act like that as a leader. It is expected of you as a leader, before you make any decision, know what is going on. Have countermeasures. Predict the outcome. If you know the outcome, if I remove subsidy from fuel, what will be the next thing? What will be the response, the reaction of Nigerians? Why are they reacting? What things have you put in place? If you are telling people to leave a particular community, if you are demolishing people's building, what are the alternatives have you put in place for them to rest their head at night? If you are demolishing shops, just the other day in Anambra, thousands of shops were demolished, and I asked a question: before the state governor demolished this shop, were there alternatives put in place for the people? Because this is their source of living. You can't just wake up one morning as a state governor and start demolishing people's shop. Where do you want them to trade the next day? So these are the things that will lead people to bully leaders. These are the things that will lead people to insult, to curse, and to abuse leaders in authority. So in all essence of what we are saying this morning, if you really want Nigerians to respect leaders, leaders must do what is expected of them, just like what this person has said. He said, if you want the bullying to stop, fix the system. You were voted into power to address the immediate needs of this country. Fix the system that are starving the population. Nigerians are starving. Nigerians are starving. How can somebody who earns 700,000, or how can somebody who earns maybe 150,000 naira per month, okay, let us say, how can somebody who earns 80,000 naira per month and rent which was 350, 200, 350, and all of a sudden the landlord of that person increases the rent from 350 to 700,000 annually? How do you expect that person to save for the next 1 year? So these are the things that our leaders must address. These are the things that our leaders must address. Nigerians want more disposable income in their pockets. In advanced countries, food are affordable, food are cheap, food are affordable, but here in this part of the world, you can't use 5,000 naira to buy food stuff, and within 2 days or 3 days, if you are a family of 3 or 2, you can't even account for that 5,000 naira. Just yesterday, I withdrew 5,000 naira for transportation, and I'm coming to the office today. What I had left with me was just 1,500. So how do you expect me not to bully my leader if I'm that kind of a person? Transportation in Lagos State is on the high side. So these are the things that we want our leaders to address. 5,000 naira cannot adequately transport me to my office for 2 days. 5,000. And you say that this is renewed hope. May God help us in Jesus' name. May God help us in Jesus' name. Alright, so these are the things we are talking about. So leaders must do the right thing. Let me see if I can take one more comment before we call it a day here. These are insults online. I don't want to say it is not healthy for online consumption. Okay, I think I can read this. This is coming from N. Nuruddin. With due respect, your opinion doesn't diminish the level of excellence and stature the First Lady has attained. Not everyone can recognize greatness. Okay. Let me see if there's any other one. Something I eat, I don't think has ever been her problem, and I don't think it will ever be. But you should be the ones afraid of what you will be like at her age. Okay, this is cautioning Nigerians who are responding to this. Okay, this is from Stefinke. Stefinke said, now the same set of people that could say this about the First Lady of a country would wake up from a short sleep tomorrow and say democracy is not working in Nigeria. I wonder what in a reasonable sense, what in reasonable sense you call freedom of speech. Expect this. Nigerians demand accountable, responsible leadership. We must move from the current culture of hedonistic, insensitive leadership to an accountable one. If we must develop and improve the economic well-being of our people. This is coming from Balaka on X. All right, thank you for all your comments here on Overt Radio Breakfast Show. We will be back 9:15. We will be back for political updates here on Overt Radio. You have been listening to the Wednesday edition of the Breakfast Show here on Overt Radio. We're coming to the end of the current affairs update when we discussed about the First Lady, Senator Oluyemi Tinubu, urging Nigerians to stop bullying leaders, and we gave instances why Nigerian leaders will be bullied. They will be bullied because they fail to do what is expected of them to do. All right, we'll go on a break within the next 15 minute max. We'll be back to continue the Wednesday edition of Overt Radio Breakfast Show. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned, listeners.